when the people who they were mixing with were already open to mixing. Like the Portuguese were already open to mixing.
So you're saying that
The British were not. The British
I
historically were
agree.
not.
I could
open
agree
to
with that.
mixing.
That the British were not. Obviously, that's why they segregated.
Exactly.
That's why they segregated. But
And Northern Europeans, because when they went to South Africa, you have a lot of the same history as well with the apartheid and the different groups that they self-segregated. That was the thing. They did the same thing in the U.S., right? They self-segregated. They didn't even need to segregate black people. They didn't want to interact with other groups of people.
So what you're saying is the Portuguese. I'm still not understanding. So because you said that they want to better their race here.
Yeah. That's one concept, right?
Okay, that's one.
That's one concept, right? But that one concept, it doesn't necessarily come from self-hate. It comes from a historical trend of the colonizer having been colonized, and that colonizer, I'm not sure, I'm not an expert in Moorish history or the caliphates or anything, right? But the point is that for centuries, the Portuguese are a product of mixing of the Lusophonic people, the original Portuguese tribes, right, with Arabs, some Africans, Northern Africans like Berbers, different. There's just a lot of different types of blood coming in there. The Portuguese are a genetically diverse group of people to begin with. For them mixing, the premise of mixing to improve your race, right, isn't one of self-hate because of your skin color. It could be self-hate in the sense of you don't believe you're good enough because you're being colonized, right? And there's somebody who clearly has more power than you.
But that's what I'm talking about, self-hate, because if you don't believe that.
But that's not because of your skin color. That's because somebody. It could be blacks who had more power. It didn't matter. It could be Asians who had more power. It didn't matter who had more power. If you have less power and you're trying to get into more power.
But in this case, it was the whites that had the power.
In this case, it was the whites, right? But those whites were actually, they already had adopted the concept of if there's something good about you, you can mix in with us. They accept that concept, right? That is why. So that's what I'm saying. In the US, you have black people who hate other black people. I'm not saying it's like the most common thing, but I'm saying it exists, right?
It exists, it exists.
You have black people who hate other black people, right? But it doesn't spring into their mind to breed into a better race, because the concept of interbreeding in the US is not it's not a common thing.
Let me ask you this.
It's not as common as it is when you look at Portuguese history.
So do you feel, I think you said this earlier, do you think that a black Brazilian often has this thought that goes through their head? In order for me to level myself up in a socioeconomic status, I should mix with a white.
Yeah.
That's a form of self-hate.
Because it's a form of self-hate in the sense that if you want to call it, you can call it hate. I don't have a problem with calling it hate, right? But it's a form of self-hate in that you don't believe you believe that something is better than you. You don't believe that you're as good as that other option that you see there, right? And so you want to breed with that. You want to create ties with that better option, that more powerful option, right? But that is not inherently because of your skin color. That's because, so if it would be self-hate, it would be strictly self-hate as what you're talking about. If you are like, I don't care if there is, let's say a black chick, right? And she's intelligent, she has a job, she is earning good money, she has opened up all the doors for herself, right? And as we mentioned from the very beginning, she's very attractive, so she has good genes. And her concept is that just because she has black skin, she is not worth it. And the only thing that can redeem her black skin or that problem that can fix that problem is any white guy whatsoever, regardless of what qualities he has. That would be self-hate on
that's what happens.
on the topic of skin. No, that's not happening. I'm not saying that at all.
I've seen it. I've seen it in Africa too. In Africa, I've seen women bleach their skin. That's a form of self-hate.
No. Or specifically, what I just said, right? Are you seeing like a black doctor, like a black surgeon, right? A black female who's 25 years old, or let's say 28 years old. She went through her residency. She got her her MD, right? She's a surgeon. She's highly intelligent. She's very beautiful. She's multilingual. She's maybe has other talents on the side. Mm-hmm. And she thinks that she is not good enough just because her skin is black or because it's too dark, and subsequently believes that the way to fix that is to breed with any white guy, like just have any white, like a 5-foot, fat, bald, ugly, dumb white guy.
Her preference becomes white.
But do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. She's not just going to go for any white guy.
She's not just not only she's not just going to go for any white guy, she's not going to go for just any guy, right? If you're talking about a person who has critical thinking skills, like if they can become a surgeon, right? They probably have critical thinking skills, right? She's not just going to date whichever guy who is white to fix the problem of her, because clearly her black skin didn't stop her from becoming successful. It didn't stop her from expressing or taking advantage of her intelligence. It didn't stop her from doing anything, right? Mm-hmm. That's like if you're going to say like your channel is successful, right? You have a following, people are tuned in. I don't know how many people are tuned in right
430.
Now. Okay, so we got a pretty good audience right now, right? That's like you telling me, you trying to convince me, right? That, or me trying to perceive you as just, regardless of the evidence we have right now, we have people tuning in, we have people asking questions, we have people following you. You have growth organically, right? And despite the evidence, we submit to the claim that you are actually not worth anything because of your skin color. I don't think that is possible with people who have reasoning skills. Because it wouldn't make any sense. You clearly are achieving and you're clearly progressing. So could there be drawbacks? Could there be? Yes, there could be drawbacks.
Well, don't use me though. I'm from the United States. Yeah, I'm from the United States. We don't have this insecurity about ourselves. Like, I don't even think the black people here would dare even fight a white guy. I know that probably has happened, but the vibe that they give off is, I don't. It's still almost like a slave mindset from what I see. Like, they kiss ass. I've seen it with my own. I can tell how they smile at me. I could be like, for example, with the white guys I was telling you about at the restaurant. We had a black server, 2 of them. There was one in the back. She wasn't a server. She was just somebody there. The way how she smiled at the white guys and then looked at me was completely different. This is at the same table. She gets everybody their drinks. She forgets mine, even though I saw her write it down. Why is that? And yes, that may just happen, but when you see it over and over and over again.
But look, is the point that like she could be racist? Yeah, she could be racist.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, so wait, hold on a second. Cause I'm a little bit confused here. Are we trying to argue whether there's racist Brazilians or not? Because I don't think that's an argument. There are a lot of.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's documented. Yeah, that's documented.
That's beyond documented. We could walk down the street. We could find the racist ass Brazilian very easily.
Very easily, right? Yeah,
very easily. But I guess I don't think that's informing your audience of anything unless they didn't believe that there was racism here in Brazil. Just in case you guys don't know, Brazil, to me anyway, I think it's one of the most racist countries in the world, if not possibly.
I think it's it might be the most racist.
I think it's the most racist country in the world. Why is this?
So why do you disagree? If you think it's the most racist country, why does it sound absurd? Or why do you have a altering opinion about what I'm saying?
It sounds absurd that somebody would be so self-hating that despite everything being in their favor, they still view their skin color as something that has such negative value that it would hold them back, that they need to solve the skin color problem. I don't see that type of racism here. I just don't. I don't see one example of a person who's like, in order for like, there was a judge in Brazil. He had a very interesting background and story, but he became the Supreme Court justice in Brazil. This was many years ago. This guy named Barbosa, and it's not an easy thing to become a judge. It's not an easy thing to become a supreme, like the justice of the Supreme Court, right? I don't think this guy thought for a moment, I clearly understand the law. I have all the faculties to be able to run the Supreme Court, but I'm black. So like, I have to find a solution to this problem. Like, I don't know any human beings that think this way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see Usain Bolt running way faster than everybody else, right? Getting to the finish line and be like, man, I got the gold medal again. The next problem that I got to solve is like what to do about my skin color. It's a non-issue once you reach that point of success.
I don't think they consciously think that, though. I think that's a subconscious.
I think people. I know. You're talking about them. The self-hate is a self-conscious thing, subconscious thing, right?
Subconscious.